Ready to embrace the magical side of life, where anything is possible and the infinite is accessible to all? Let's have a conscious conversation about what's going on in the world, in your life, and your relationship from the expanded perspective of your soul. The path to awareness begins and ends in the heart. So let's take it there, one step at a time, and learn to cultivate magic in your life every single day. In each episode, we share a collective space in which we discover the unique facets of our own magic and embody our superhuman qualities by humbly exploring how it's super simply to be human. Hosts Kaí and Dell co-create a magical experience to remind you that you are magical as fuck. Now, be unleashed. This is our daily magic.
Hello, whoever is here live, let us know who you are. We appreciate you. Hey there, Jessica, what is up? Jessica White is in the building.
Oh, wow, Jess, how was your detox?
What's up, Peter?
Hey, Peter.
Thanks, yes, keep the heart emojis going up. Awesome, 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 awesome. Oh, man, what a week so far. Very interesting this morning. Yes, it is. Definitely is. It's been an interesting week or so as well. For those of you who tuned in yesterday, or not yesterday, see, I'm losing track of days already. For those of you who were here last week when we did an episode, I was talking about on Tuesday how I wasn't feeling well at that time. And at that time, I said I took the rapid test and rapid test came back negative. But then later on that week, took another rapid test and it came back positive. So we've been dealing with the COVID over here for the past week or so. It's been a very, very interesting journey on this. For myself, this is actually my second stint with this. I got it last year, right in the beginning of the pandemic. Myself, my mother, and my father got it, and my father passed away due to the COVID-related symptoms. And it wasn't as intense as it was last time, but it definitely had its roller coaster of events for both of us. What was it, on Sunday? Sunday was a very intense moment with this, but on the up and up, both from my end.
Thanks, Jessica.
How are you doing?
The first 3 days were real intense for me. Like, I did not move practically from the bed. And then there was like a day or two feeling a little bit better. And then there was a very intense night of just struggling to breathe. Made it through that. And now things seem to be leveling off. Just riding the wave.
Yeah, I feel like this is the great test of surrendering to what's going on, but also like how the moments are moments that you would like to have or you would prefer, or it's the moment that was meant to happen because it's happening right now. But also doing the stuff to keep yourself healthy mind, body, spirit wise.
Yeah. Immune system. Doing what you need to do to keep yourself well, period. And that helps. I can only imagine what this whole experience would have been like if I started off without my full health intact. So grateful for that.
Yeah. Because like the stresses from this thing going on. And that's the other thing I was grateful for, my man. I can only imagine what happened if I was like dealing with or other stressors already. And then this add on to it. Hey, Ann, what is up?
Hey, Ann.
So Ann said, it's all about keeping your immune system strong and healthy. Yeah. I feel like that's the cool thing about it, not even just for our immune system, but our internal system as well. Keeping it strong and healthy, building those muscles. So like I always say numerous times of the spiritual muscles with things, like building your spiritual muscles through whatever mindfulness practice you do, meditation, yoga, all those things allowing you to connect to you, or also connect to the space of you that's bigger than you and bigger than the situation, and continue to work with that. So that way when moments presents itself, and like it inevitably does, you have the muscles and tools ready to like, okay, this is what I've been working in the dojo for.
Right. And Jess, it's good to see you here. If you're still here, I was thinking, oh, well, maybe this could be a good time to detox. And I really had to listen to my body, because my body was like, no, not right now. Imagine like detox symptoms on top of this.
Yeah.
That would have been a crazy mess.
Yeah. I thought for myself too. I was like, maybe I should fast for a little bit. So that way I can like work through this. But then my body was like, are you serious? Like, so, I'm dealing with a lot of strain on my body and immune system. Let me do something to
put more.
Yeah. Well, that's mostly the human nature of stuff. When something's going down, you gotta do more of that thing to work through it, or whatever it may be. So, okay, I'm stressed out. Let me put more stress onto myself by pushing through, working hard, and like going rah, rah, rah.
Just said, that would be interesting.
Oops. Oh yeah. So Peter was talking about Deborah. Yeah, shout out to Deborah too. I actually got her book that I'm going to take a look at. Oh, I'm actually going to read. I won the contest and I got an autographed book from her on a book about miracles. And Peter said, Deborah has a COVID-19 gathering on Tuesday at 4 p.m. Mountain Time. Oh, that's today. The group is called Army for Love, and the website location is you know what? I am actually going to join that, because that was at 7:00. I guess Mountain Time is.
Is it 6? I think it's 6.
Either way. Yeah, I will be there. And Jessica, so I'm still here. That'll be intense. You say, I just completed a 3-day post-holiday detox last week. I'm done detoxing
for the year. For the rest of the 3 days that we have left. I see you, Jess.
So Peter says that's 6. All right. Yep, I'm going to be there.
Cool.
Ooh. Peter asked, what's the detox regimen entail anyways?
Good question.
That's a good question for, I guess, the detox goddess, right?
Mm-hmm.
For Rashidat.
And Jess. Jess is here too.
Oh, yeah.
Jess is super knowledgeable about all that. Awesome. And I think there's a 3-day, a 7-day regimen. There's different lengths for whatever it is that you're looking to do, Peter, but it is a holistic detox. So it's not just about, what it is that you're consuming in your mouth. It's talking about all of the things that you're consuming, whether it's social media or media in general, people, your environment. What are you doing in terms of movement with your body? The holistic detox takes you through asanas for each day. Asks you to, take a little break from your devices. And then you also get to nourish yourself with juices. And in some cases, like the 7-day detox includes raw alkaline salads. So it's nice. I like to say that I feel all of my feelers out there in the world when I detox, all of them, instead of like reaching for things, I end up turning them back in towards myself. And that's literal and figurative, because all of the energy that you typically use to chew, or to think about what you're going to eat, or to cook what it is that you're going to eat, all of that energy gets to be recycled into your system and invested in your healing. Yay, just put the website, thank you.
Peter asked, does it entail literally cleaning out your digestive system?
Yeah, that. That too.
That reminded me of speaking about digestive system clean out, going to the poop place.
Oh yes.
What's the hydrocolonic cleanse?
Hydrotherapy.
Hydrotherapy. And for those of you who don't know, hydrotherapy is when they pump water up your woohoo, and it helps to clean out unprocessed like poop in our testic system. It's very intense as well.
Emotional.
With that
too.
Yeah, but it's a good cleansing that goes down. Did that a couple times this year, and it's been very, 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 very good.
Was this year the year we went ham on doing that?
Yes.
Okay. And then took a break and then did it like once again. Good stuff. You're interested.
Oh, and done that. Nice.
Yeah, right. Very humbling.
Peter said my mother would do that to us when we were very young.
Whoa. Whoa.
Yeah.
It's
cool remedies, like those type of stuff.
Yeah.
Like old school remedies. You just think about they experienced as a kid.
And then all of a sudden they're like, brand new and rebranded, and you're like, hey grandma, guess what I did? And she's like, we used to do that back in the day.
Yeah.
Now they just got a fancy machine. Well, comes back around to things that are, really working. That's a good thing to think about. Doing
What?
That again. And her name is Anne. The lady that does it at the hydrotherapy place that we go to, her name is Anne.
Oh, yeah. And then I believe we're gonna do her live on Friday, right?
Yeah, at least us, right?
Yeah. So hopefully if Ra's there too, you can bring your questions directly to her and she can answer those questions. But yeah, her detox was pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
It was intense though, because like whenever you do something or you make the declaration to do something, the universe likes to test you just to make sure you're really sure you want to do it. So I remember that because we made a decision to start to do the detox. On the very first day, we went to go see one of our friends at her sister's house, and at that house says, "Oh yeah, we just had a party over the weekend, so we have all these snacks available." So like in the room when we went in there, it was just a plethora of like just delicious foods and snacks and like appetizer that I love. So I'm just sitting there like, yo. And my mind was telling me like, yo, man, like that was really good. Like you should eat that. Like you should really get into devouring. you don't want the food to go to waste and stuff like that.
They were throwing it out though, like for real.
Yeah, so it was just sitting there, and then here I am, and we had this bottle of celery juice or whatever it was, and I had to like drink this celery juice instead of enjoying the delicious food that was available for me. And then right when I was at the breaking point of actually about to do it, I was like, yo, screw this, I'm about to do it. And then right when I was about to do it, that's when it was like, all right, we're gonna throw all the food out. And I'm like,
it was funny.
when moments like that happens, when you make that decision to do something different, and then life is going to test you. Oh, you sure about that? It's sort of like when you decide to no longer talk to that person that you consider toxic, and then the person sends you a message or sends you some flowers and stuff or whatever, and tries to or wants to like hang out with you. And now you got a decision. Are you going to honor what you made a decision on, or are you going to do something? Or are you going to decide to go back?
We had a couple comments.
Let's see. Peter said my mother would do that to us when we were very young. And then Jessica talked about Ross thing. And then Anne said something great is ionic.
Oh, yeah, too. I did that too. That was interesting.
Peter said, "Let's check out the books. He thinks it'll benefit us all." And also said, "I know this is crazy, but you know, if someone has a problem with IBS,
yes,
would that be considered a detox?"
Say that again.
Peter said, "If I know this is crazy, but you know, if someone has a problem with IBS, would that be considered a detox?"
Depends on how you look at it.
Kaí, I learned more about quantum physics too.
Jess, we got to have you on the show or something, because you are like in super expansion mode. Love to know what more it is that you've learned. This is awesome, and this is absolutely the place to share. Please, please, please.
From the bottom up. So what was the title of this? You said 2000
I said there were 3 days. I don't even know if my math is right. I said 3 more magical days of 2021 or until 2022, something like that.
I think so, because like New Year's Eve is on Friday. I think that was a cool thing this year of the holidays being on a weekend. Mm-hmm. Usually it's like in the middle of the week type of thing. And obviously we experienced Christmas on a Saturday before. Oops. But it was cool to like see that. And also for the New Year's now with the shift into the New Year's happening from Friday to Saturday.
Mm-hmm. You know what?
What?
I'm sending Jess a link. Because I want to hear about this quantum physics stuff.
Okay. And as she's doing that, just wanted to say how this year has been very, very interesting, I would say. And how has your 2022 or 2021 has been for you so far? It's been very transformative. It still is transformative. I was just having a conversation with my friend, also the owner of the gym that I'm at, once again, CrossFit. And I was just saying how this actually was a blessing for me of having this time of like chilling, of not working out doing CrossFit, because I was going very, 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 not very, very hard. I was going hard because I was doing it every Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday since March.
So you were going very, very, very hard Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Even with the sickness comes the even sicker jokes. Dang.
Don't clear out my joke.
But I was telling her it was cool because my shoulder was a little bit sore, and also this time I had that actually had to sit for my body to recover what's been going on this week. My shoulder actually feels back to normal, feels better. But I said what I actually did too that I haven't done in a while was I stepped on the scale.
Hmm.
And I was like, let me step on the scale and see what's up. I mean, I'm seeing results. I mean, I have to look at the scale. And that's another reason I stopped looking at the scale, because I was getting very discouraging. I was looking at the scale every like day or so. So I'm like, come on, come on, come on. But what happened so far for this year was I dropped over 30 pounds since rejoining the gym. I'm like, whoa, that's pretty cool.
That's a lot considering that you're also putting on muscle mass at the same time.
Yeah. And that's what I realized too when I stopped being, or when I was discouraged, I wasn't losing that much, but then I was like putting on muscle. And obviously muscle weighs more than fat, but then also if I'm like my weight with muscle compared to my weight with fat, it's a different ball game. What I told Tracy too, I said I have a goal that I'm going to hit, and I said it to Jaden too. I said by the time my birthday hits, so that's 2022, in May 28th, I'm going to have my six pack back, a more defined six pack. So I'm on the journey for doing that, but it's cool because obviously people use this time of 2022 or the New Year's as a way to like make a shift in their life. New year, new me, you know, like that type of thing.
Oh, wait, what was your slogan though? You had a nice one.
I'll get there.
Oh.
Just don't interrupt me again.
Whatever, this is conversation, man.
So with that shift coming on, and a lot of us, we use that new year energy to like, oh, I'm gonna lose weight, or I'm gonna do all these different type of stuff. And I saw this post on LinkedIn, in which on LinkedIn they were saying like, what is like one of the number one reasons why people aren't able to accomplish their New Year's resolutions or accomplish their goals, and they fail at it. Jessica said, let her know when you send the link.
Sent messenger.
She said, check your DMs. But with that question about why people fail, actually, I'm going to pull it up so that way we can take a look at that. So that in the survey, they say, why do the majority of New Year's resolution fail? And the answers were lack of discipline, too many goals, no written goals, and then for others. So that's what they have for their surveys. And I just wrote for it, I said, because of the continuing effort that it takes to make changes and keep it. Also, that initial inspiration for change will inevitably start to wear off. So, you know, like when you first start the New Year's off, you have that energy and momentum and stuff like that. But then a couple of weeks, it starts to diminish. Body starts to get sore and everything else. And you have all these reasons to like stop going at it, or maybe it gets too tough. Now I'm just a weight goal. Maybe you have a personal goal or business goal or relationship goal, whatever it may be. And it gets pretty challenging at certain moments. And it's easier to like, I feel like it's easier to just stop, give up. There's no effort that's happening. There's no effort. I'm not seeing any results or tangible things are happening from it. And it's just like the gym, that even when you first start off in the gym, you may not start seeing results immediately, but the momentum and those little deposits start to add up. And so it reminded me of when I made a decision to get back into the gym or CrossFit in March, and just the incremental and the deposits I was putting into it, and continue that momentum with it. And I wasn't seeing results yet and was getting discouraged. But I started to realize how just that dedication and doing the work with that and pushing myself in the CrossFit started to shift me in other ways, in which I started to push myself to what we're doing right here, this momentum shift as well, which was an added factor for me going into the gym and having that momentum going, is where we made the 1 year dedication of doing a podcast every week, of showing up every week and being here, which translated to that. And the reason I wanted to say that is with this new year coming in, we can easily wait for the day to hit to go after our goals or to start pursuing stuff, or we can decide what we want now and go for it right now and head into the year with momentum of already going for it. You'll let her in?
You done?
Yes.
Okay, got that out. Hope y'all were listening because that was some deep stuff. Jessica, welcome.
Hi. Okay.
She got a brand new haircut.
I
Oh,
do. I cut off all my free form.
story, please.
So before the 23-day juice and fast, I knew that I was going to cut it off. I just didn't know like how or when. I always get these impulses being like a Sagittarius. So around my birthday, I was like, I'm going to cut it. And I texted the guy and set up an appointment. And I tried to back out of it. And he was like, well, I don't like my time being wasted, because I was scared. And so I was like, you know what? You're right. I'm going to cut my hair. Like, this is a sign. Like, I just need to go ahead and cut it. And so I cut it.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Okay, so you're like tagging right on to what Dell was talking about. You know, we get an initial impulse to do something, and then it takes a whole other energy source in order to follow through on that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what did it feel like to follow through? Like, what did you do with the fear? Where did you put it?
So whenever I get nervous or fearful, I always like still charge towards the goal. Like, even if I want to back out, or I'll get that encouragement. Like this time it was like an outside encouragement, like, hey, you know, I don't like when people cancel. You could reschedule, and so I was like, you know what, I'm gonna just forge forward with it. Like, I decided to book the session for a reason, or the appointment for a reason. So I was like, I'm gonna just cut it. Like, I have to. Like, this is a sign. Like, there's something I still want to hold on to that I need to let go of. So I just was like, I have to let it go. And I didn't keep my locks. A lot of people ask me, like, did I keep my locks? I threw them away. Like, and yeah, I could grow another batch out of my hair like I did before.
How long were you growing them for? Sorry, you're gonna say something.
No, you're fine. Since April 2020. So I just stopped combing my hair one day, and I was like, I'm gonna let it flow naturally. And I threw out my comb and brush, and it grew.
Wow.
Yes. So I know you guys are talking about a few things, and Dale, you talked about kind of going into the new year, and you said some of your goals. Kai, what are some of yours? What are some that you want to see happen?
Thank you for asking. One of the main things that I'm looking forward to integrating is consistency, like consistency in who I'm being. You know, like, I'm magnificent, and I want to keep that in the forefront of my brain. You know, there's a lot of things that could sneak in there, but I'm like, there's something else here called magnificence, you know, that I'd like to stay tapped into.
I love that. Absolutely. I think that's something that I too need to integrate into this next calendar year is like, I often shy away from like speaking, or just kind of like presenting myself as my full self. It's kind of like a resistance to greatness. And it's like, why wouldn't I stand truly and fully within my power? And so this year is like all power, all like authentic, all straight through the door. This is who I am. This is my power, you know, and just kind of embracing that, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And my question to you is, how could you embrace that in this conversation we're having right now?
by joining. That was a first step. And as the conversation continues to unfold, I guess it would be to continue to be myself, be honest, receive light, know that I am light, that I am divine love, just as you both are, and just kind of allow that exchange to kind of flow and allow that to be the vibration that we vibe on. So, yeah.
Okay. Tell me about that quantum physics and also the results of your 23-day detox. For those who haven't heard, what went down for you, love to listen to that as well.
Okay, awesome. So I'll start off talking about the 23-day juice cleanse. It started November 1st for me, and it ended the 23rd for me. So it was a great experience. It was definitely like a high. Like, I don't know if anybody participates in, other activities, but basically it got me there without having to smoke. It got me there without having to do a super deep meditation. It was just very easy to tap into true self during that time. I was crying a lot during that time, as well as a lot of things were presenting itself to me, asking for me to like release it and let it go. So that was a great thing that I experienced, and I experienced crying without judgment. And that was kind of like a first for me, I guess, other than when I was a child. A lot of times people feel awkward or weird expressing themselves. And that's something that I struggle with, is like crying. And so during that time, it was a lot of tears. It was a lot of like, well, this is just what I'm doing in this moment, and I'm going to cry, and I'm going to enjoy this, and I'm going to observe everything. I was able to see things with a different perspective. It was kind of like my life was like this instead of like being in it like this, if that makes sense. I was able to understand where I was coming from, understand other sides, and accept it all for just what it was. So that was truly beautiful. After the 23 days, I lost weight. I really wasn't trying to keep too much count. I think it was about like 10 pounds, but I felt really good, like emotionally and mentally, more than physically. Like, my goal wasn't to feel or do much physically, because I've already been losing weight working at the cafe. And so my mom was telling a joke. She was like, if you keep detoxing, you're going to turn into one of them spirits you be talking to. So so the goal definitely wasn't to lose weight. It was just to gain a new perspective and those other realms of self, if that makes sense. So yeah. Yes. Go ahead, Dale. I think you have something.
Yeah. So since the detox, since you got done with it, has it altered the way, like, your relationship with food? Have you introduced yourself back to like solid foods? Like, where are you at now after that 23-day detox?
So one lesson that I learned is never to do it before or around your birthday. So my 24th birthday was that Saturday after I had completed it on the 23rd. And so Thanksgiving was on the 25th. Yeah, so I didn't eat much during that time, but I had plans. Everyone was like, what are you doing for your birthday? So I was like, oh, I'll go out to dinner. Worst mistake of this year, I'll say, because it was just like with me sustaining or like not having food and then eating what everyone else was eating, and the energy based off of the chef and different things, like it kind of made me like start craving it. So I really went on to like a hunger binge from my birthday up until like maybe like 2 weeks ago, where basically it was like I was eating and I wasn't understanding why. Like I wasn't hungry, like I knew that I didn't need food, but it was just like food is available, eat, like eat. And it was to the point where I was like making myself like sick. I was feeling very guilty because I was like, okay, so I know within my body I don't need food, so why am I craving this, or why am I just eating this just because it's here? So I dealt with a lot of like guilt, and having to say like, I forgive myself. Like that's something that Rashida and I had a conversation about, like forgiving yourself for the decisions that you make and moving forward. So it was really like, I forgive myself. Now, how am I going to move forward with this? Like in having all of this knowledge of food, detoxing, being able to have food, withstand from it. And yeah, so now I do eat, but it's a bit more healthier. I'm drinking my water a lot more just to remind myself, like, you don't need it, because sometimes we're not allowing the water or other juices to do what it needs to do as well. So that's kind of been my journey so far.
It's beautiful and important too. Just for those who are like cultivating like your energy and like really feeling into how your body is feeling. There was a day where I slept like a really long time, like did not get out of the bed, and I didn't even know that it was because I was dehydrated until I figured it out. So when you're talking about water, like that is something that is so important. Thank you for touching on that, Jess.
Yeah, absolutely. Water is life, honestly. Like having a gallon of water during my juicing definitely helped. And so it's so funny because during my time of detoxing, I never imagined that my post detox or post cleanse would look that way. Like I was like, oh yeah, I want to do this every day. Like I can do juice and I can do a smoothie and I can even do like a raw salad, but I need to do these every day. And so of course that is still the goal. Of course, I still get my juices in. But it's just like, I realized like how unrealistic that was for me, obviously, as that was not my journey, but kind of like loving myself through that and being able, my goal is to get there. It may not be today, but it'll be there. And I already eat healthy. So a lot of that too is like not beating up on myself or feeling a certain type of way about certain things, because yeah, everything changes and we have to, yeah.
Nice. There's that gallon.
Absolutely. Also, to talk about quantum physics. So we talked about me going quantum. And so I was like, okay, cool. I'm going to feel it. I felt it, but it's starting to become more prevalent, if that makes sense. So one day, I was driving in my car. I was on my way home from work, but something told me like you have extra time, go to this bookstore in Chicago. And I've been there before. And I was like, okay, why do I need to go there? But I was like, I'm not going to question it. I'm just going to go there. I remembered how to get there, like through my intuition and physically, but I was trying to look it up on GPS. I was like, oh, I'm a GPS it. Like, let me just go ahead. It wasn't popping up. Even when I typed in Black bookstores, it wasn't popping up. It was like, just follow what I'm telling you to do. Just go. Like, where it is internally. So I pulled up to the place. And I was like, I'm supposed to be here. Like, that was the voice that was like within my head. Like, I need to be here. I walked in. It was two gentlemen. I knew the guy who owns the bookstore. He's like older. And there was another guy who was with him. And I was like, yeah, I just had a vision, like we're here to talk about something. I was like, this is a checkpoint in my life. Like just telling them like, this is a checkpoint. Like we're supposed to have a conversation like about something important. And I was like, we're going to do this. Like, it was so like vivid. It was like, my dream type stuff. Like I had been there before. And so they have received me well, and they were like, okay, cool. Like, so what have you been learning about? Or what is it that you're interested in? Or what are we supposed to talk about? And so the conversation just flowed organically. And a question that I asked them was, what do you guys know about quantum physics? Like that was like the second question. The first one, they were talking about sovereignty and like being a more, I don't know if you guys know about that, but they were kind of talking about like just the role or what that definition of being a more truly is. But like I said, we flowed into quantum physics. So the guy asked me, being the elder that he was like, tell me what you know about quantum physics. And so I was really struggling to like tell him. I was like, oh, this lady had taught me, she lives in Detroit. And so he was like, I was like, she taught me about the double slit project. I don't know if you guys heard about that, but they were basically trying to like measure particles going through these slits. And so whenever they would observe it, it would do the opposite of what they expected. And when it wasn't observed, it would do kind of what it was supposed to do, if that makes sense. That's like the lamest terms of the experiment, if anybody wants to look that up. And so I told him about that, and he was like, look up the etymology of the word quantum. And so the etymology of it means sum or amount. So he was like, they're trying to figure out the sum or amount of something. And he was like, do you know what this really is? He was like, honestly, like in lamest terms, it's the study of melanin. And it just blew my mind. It really blew my mind. And he was talking to me and he was like, have you ever heard of like chaos mathematics or just these different things? He was like, that's their way of trying to quantify or understand how much melanin there truly is, or like the carbon that's basically within everyone. We all possess it. But he talked about how there's some more than others, and kind of like delving deep into that and how that is the key to like freedom. So I didn't know that. And I was just like, wow, like this whole time I was thinking that it was some like weird scientific thing. Like, and I was like, yes, I know what this is. And he was like, you don't. And I was like, okay. So that's been my discoveries. Did you know that? Or
This is my first time hearing that perspective.
mm-hmm.
And I bet that there could be a billion things derived from one concept.
Correct.
Who knows? Maybe there's even more theories.
There definitely could be. I had ended up getting this book from his store. It's called The Quantum World, Quantum Physics for Everyone. So I haven't delved deep into it yet, but this is like a thick textbook kind of talking about like the study of it. And so I'm hoping to get more from it. But he told me that I need to read this book with this book called Melanin, The Key to Freedom. And so some of this in here that they talk about is kind of like traveling in your dreams. Like that's also like melanin, or like the carbon, like that, the physical body that we see when we dream, that's what we're traveling through, or like that's our vehicle that we travel with. Because I was telling them how deep my dreams get, and I had a dream about like quantum jumping, and so I saw like this rope going down into like these different portals, and I was like, I wonder why I need this rope, like why is this rope important? And so I was telling them about the dream, and so they were like, well, it sounds like you're tapped in. It's just about truly understanding more, I guess, on this physical plane, like through the books, through understanding, through living life. So yeah, that was my discovery, or another perspective.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Awesome. Wow. Okay. Have you started the melanin book?
I have. I started underlining a few things. I was looking through it in the waiting room because I wanted to pull something up. Give me 1 second.
Mm-hmm. Take your time.
As I look through this, what was your introduction of quantum physics, or like what's your understanding of it?
Got it. Speaking for myself, my understanding is constantly evolving. I have an uncle who is a brilliant mathematician and scientist, and we've been talking about these things since I could talk.
It's cool.
So to really have like a free explorative mind about it, you know, not I should say, you know, looking at it from different perspectives is
Mhm.
something that's really interesting to me.
I love it. Yeah, absolutely.
How about you, Tal? How did you get introduced to stuff like quantum physics?
I haven't. I said I haven't, but I feel like it's like this another flavor of this infinite truth out there.
Absolutely.
So I got my own way of diving into it. But it's cool because finding something that resonates with you in the moment and learning from that is what like enables you to expand more and to learn more and either hear all these different perspectives for people bringing in this infinite information.
Mhm.
And like for me, I'm a simple-minded person. I meditate, I get beyond my mind, I get into that space, boom. Okay.
I love it. I love it. And I love that we have different perspectives or
Yeah.
different names for things. Like, what if you're studying quantum physics in your mind and you don't even know it? I don't know.
Exactly.
Have you guys ever seen Lovecraft Country? That is my show.
Love that show.
That is so like deep on so many different levels. Like she was quantum jumping. Technically speaking, Hippolyta was quantum jumping. Like she was my favorite. And like the important thing about that show, or at least her main episode, was that she was a mathematician and scientist as well. And she opened that quantum portal for them to travel back in time. And not only that, but when the woman asked her who she was like, I'm Hippolyta. And she was like, no, say I am. And I am are like, you know, like say I am. And so she went back through those different time periods of I am a warrior. I am a dancer for Josephine Baker. I am this, like, and she came back from the other lifetimes and even her traveling with her husband, and she worked alongside of him in that world. Like that was so powerful. Like just saying I am, and whatever she said after that, she became, like she was, and she lived out those lifetimes before she went to visit her daughter again. Oh my goodness, I was like, yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, I loved it. So this is in the introduction on page 20. It's called Melanin, a Chemical by Richard King, MD. And he says melanin, or better yet, Kim, the Kemetic name for black, was seen as having magical properties under the name Jet, Christ, or Black, a name given to the Black one that resulted from the hold on.
Take your time.
Alchemical is basically alchemy, Kemetic metallurgical process of separating gold and silver from raw black earth by the use of mercury. On a symbolic level, the process was rediscovered by physician and leader C.G. Jung as the symbolic process of alchemy, an experience in which the process of intense concentration of attention or meditation by the observer was seen to produce a spontaneous projection of the observer's own unconscious contents onto the subject being visualized. So this kind of reminded me of the book, The Alchemist, like when the guy was kind of like in the desert and trying to understand how to separate the different elements. And so I thought it was really interesting that it was saying that it had magical powers, and it used the name Jet, but in parentheses it said Christ. And so I've just been kind of going down these like loopholes of like using out like my previous knowledge to understand like what this is talking about, and kind of like how like the man told me about we travel in these like dark matter bodies in the dreams. And so it also talks about that in this book. And so it's very interesting. A lot of stuff I'm learning. So yes.
Nice. I think it's cool that you're allowing yourself to go down the rabbit holes.
Absolutely. I can't go too far though. That's a super deep book. I feel like I gotta take it piece by piece. Just because too, like exploration is the greatest leader, if that makes sense. I'm learning, like exploring and going out and bumping my head or asking these questions with other people or just having these conversations. Those stick more to me than sometimes reading. Of course, I love reading. Of course, it sticks, but I'm saying that I feel like it has more meaning when we experience stuff through other people, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. I'm excited though. I'm excited. And I appreciate you guys for allowing me to come today and using your platform to allow me to kind of talk about this.
Yeah, excited for you.
Yes, me too. Me too. I was just writing down notes from our session this morning. I was like, I gotta go back and watch it. Like something this morning was like, go back and watch it. Start writing it down. And so I kind of started to transcribe that, but I didn't finish. So yeah, I'm gonna do that.
Got it. Is there anything that you would, in this moment, like to have told Jessica from a couple of months ago?
Yes. So I was just telling someone, I said, this is a cosmic time right now, and it's super important where your attention like goes or like focuses right now. So I would tell myself that as well, like making sure that I'm being intentional with my thought. Being intentional with thought is super important. So I would tell myself to think more about what I'm thinking about and kind of rerouting or rewiring my brain to focus on leveling up and using my power during this time. So it took a second, but I know it now. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yes. What about you guys? What would you have told yourselves a couple months ago? Or wish that you told yourself a couple months ago?
You want to go first, Del?
No, you go.
There's a part of me that really feels that everything is perfect. So like I would say there's nothing that I would have told myself. And then at the same time, I'm a firm believer in sending all parts of myself love, at every point in my journey. So if there's something, it would be that, just more unfiltered, unconditional love.
I love that. And two, I've been noticing your post about like messages to yourself. So I definitely know that, like you said, it's kind of perfect, like, but also sharing that love with yourself. So I've been inspired to do that actually. Like maybe I'll do that for a week, like just writing letters to myself and hide them and find them again.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Today's a good day to start it.
It is. Today's a perfect day. What about you, Dell?
I would say be more fearless while I'm also fearful. So doing those things that a couple months ago that I was holding myself back for being afraid or from fear of stepping into it. And obviously now I'm stepping into those things now. Was having that encouragement, but also to celebrate the little wins leading up to it. So I was having a conversation earlier today about being consistent with the going to the gym. So that's a little win right there that translated to things, but just showing up and being more fearless. So that's the momentum swing that I'm going into now, headed in more into next year and stuff like that. But having those conversations, that I've been afraid of having those conversations about.
I love that. And congratulations on your journey to the gym. I just read somewhere that they talk about the difference between someone who may like cheat for their body or who goes to the gym for 8 months. The only difference is the mindset. So I'm excited to see like where your mindset is or like goes in like a month or two. Just kind of like see how you feel like about like fear versus like at that point, if that makes sense. Like when you get there and looking back and you're like, I don't even know what I was afraid of. Like, you know, like I'm excited for that for you.
That's what happened too. Like, because your mind gives you every scenario of what can go wrong and never really gives you the scenarios of what can go right by going for it.
That's true.
And then when you go for it, usually the results of it is not even as bad as you thought it would be. But we get so limited by our mind, and our mind gives us valid information, maybe from previous experiences, and also it's trying to prevent us from doing something so we feel pain. So stepping out there and speaking your truth more, maybe you got made fun of as a kid, and that part of you is trying to prevent you from potentially being ridiculed or bullied again, or stepping out the ledge and going for the relationship, that new relationship that you want. Out of all the other relationships weren't so good, and now you're that part of you that wants to protect you. It can't show you the potentiality of potentially coming across what you're looking for as well, but you have to step off that ledge.
Yeah, on that other side of fear. And I think it's so important too. I just started reading the 4 Agreements. My friend has been telling me to read it a lot. And so kind of like how you said, as like children, in the book, the author was talking about like we receive these thoughts or opinions about ourselves, and we agree to carry those with us. Like we make that agreement based off of someone else's opinion. And so I just finished reading the part about being impeccable with your word and how we have the power, kind of like you were talking about, to reprogram our minds. And so the author was saying, like, if this is like a computer virus, you have the power to basically rehack it or hack back into it and change your whole dimension. And yeah. And it reminds me of that Londrell song where he talks about where he has that sermon by T.D. Jakes, and he said the reason why you believe that you're unattractive or you're not smart or these different things is because you've internalized it, you've accepted that. And so it's important to pluck up the bad weeds that we have accepted within our garden, because that's what our minds are.
Yeah. Yes.
Yes.
And I haven't heard that song by Londrell yet, and I'm a fan, so I'm gonna have to look that one up.
I'm gonna have to, I'll send it to you. I was just listening to it this morning. He was talking about, I think it's called Believe in Yourself. It's a really good song.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
This is what we get to do.
Yes.
Moving forward, like this is what we get to do. We get to decide who we are. We get to be that. We get to integrate it into who we're being on a daily basis, and that influences how we're living, what we're having, and what we're doing.
Absolutely. Especially as you talk about integration. Another thing too is like that we talked about is also embodying. Like, how do you integrate and embody it? Like once you have those practices there, like how do you then like walk in that? So that's something that I've been heavily thinking about, is like, okay, like my higher self and me, and not even to say that there is a difference between like the two. That's something too that I'm learning. Like I am my higher self today. You know what I mean? Like I am my lower, so understanding that too is as not as separate, but just as one. So I really appreciate you guys. I love your conversations, the post. If you guys ever want to do a soul session or reading with Kaí, she's great. But yeah, I appreciate you guys letting me come on today.
You're welcome. And Peter asked if you guys could put the name of the person.
Which for Landrell?
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Awesome. Cool. I guess we could share some tracks. Because it's on, do you listen on Spotify?
I pulled it up on my Apple Music.
Apple Music. Got it. Okay. Thanks for asking, Peter.
Yes.
And thank you, Jess, for being here.
Yay, thank you guys. I appreciate it. I'm gonna go back in the crowd.
It was nice interfacing you and holding the space for you to drop this wealth of knowledge and experience. This has just been like a month or so.
It has. So I'm excited to see where I continue to go and grow, and life takes off for all of us.
Absolutely. All right, please do keep in touch. Yep.
All right, well, I'm gonna jump off. Sorry.
It's okay. I got you. I'm gonna shut it down.
Okay.
And what Jess is talking about is, there's a lot of different ways that we can interpret, that we can, like we're talking about, integrate this into our lives. And we're actually going to take a deep dive into exactly what we're talking about today. And that deep dive is going to be on January 6th, 7 p.m. We're going to talk about what it's like to experience wealth expansion from within yourself. Just shared a wealth of experience. That's just one of the ways that we can experience wealth in our lives. Yeah, wealth comes with, taking care of your body. Wealth comes with your mindset. Wealth comes in a whole myriad of different ways. And, this was the perfect experience to see what a wealth of connections looks like, what wealth in a relationship looks like. We're exchanging social currency every single day. These are just some of the ways that we can tap into that. And when we start talking about things like money is just a representation. Money is just a symbol of all of the wealth that you have in your life. And yeah, it can show up in that way, but it's just like looking at a map as compared to actually exploring the world. So we're going to take a deep dive with all of y'all who are willing to come. You can find the event in the Our Daily Magic group. Come out, let's have a conversation, and let's really have this show up the way that it can show up optimally. Not just for 2022, we're talking about for life. So come be with us next Thursday. Say yes to the event invitation if you got it. If you didn't, look for the event, and we will see you there. This was an amazing, amazing conversation today. Thank you so much again, Jess, for being with us and for sharing who you are and who you're being in the world. And
stay magical.